This bitch is on. Okay. So I guess I'm piggybacking off of my spiritual level up journey. And I have been trying to make another video off of this for some time now because, you know, they be fucking with my shit. It'll either cut off or it just won't let me post or it won't let me record. So I figured, I wanted to finish this shit up because, it's let me see, what today is the 20th. And so I really wanted to finish this up because I didn't want to keep dwelling on this shit because I'm not that type of motherfucker that want to sit here and keep dwelling on the past. Y'all gotta excuse me because I might lose my voice. I got caught up in this rain, this ice cold rain. I was trying to make sure that my baby got his birthday cake. And just my luck, our other cat got stuck in the tree. And I was out there trying to coach his ass out that motherfucker. And I was out there in that cold ass rain and got wet. So I got sick. So I haven't been feeling that well. So if I lose my voice, that's because, or if I sound like I got a frog in my throat, or if I sound like a grown ass man, then you'll know why. But I wanted to close that chapter up, and not because I'm bitter, not because I'm angry, not because I'm really trying to put this person on the spot. It's because I'm really trying to speak my truth. Because I know there's other motherfuckers out there that this particular warlock been doing shit too down there in the ATL. And just for, other women out there, period, other single mothers, other single females, just shit that you've been going through, confirmation. I just been wanting to put this out there. So where I left off at, I was explaining where this particular person, where I met them from, was I met them from school. And that's where I knew them from. I'm trying to speed this up. Yeah, I knew this person from school. And so I decided to date them because I have been hearing from like readings and different signs and other things that this was somebody that I was going to link up from my past. And so I was like, okay, whatever. Fine and dandy. This particular person slid in my DM, and they was making it seem like, they wanted to be with me, and they was down for the cause, and they wanted to settle down, and this and that to the third. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I'm like, okay. So, long story short, because it's been like a year and a half. So I want to say like around early 2001, I went on ahead and I linked up with this individual. And so we called ourselves talking. At first I was like, how is this going to work? You in the ATL, I'm in Philly. Long distance, how is this going to work? This person reassured, oh, it don't matter. We can FaceTime. I can come see you. You can come see me. We can, So I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I've had an experience in the past when I was younger, like in my teenage years, about that whole long distance thing, and it didn't work. So I had made it up in my mind that I wasn't going to do no long distance bullshit, you know. But whatever. So we had been talking for or in a so called relationship for like 5 months or so. And there was different like red flags and certain things that popped up, but I caught myself ignoring. And that's why I said I'm kind of glad that things happened the way that it did, because it kind of taught me valuable lessons about ignoring my intuition. And so, you know, we were two different people. We grew up in different households. I come from an Islamic background. My father was military, so on top of that, the household was strict on lock. And so this individual, they was brought up in the church. But don't get it twisted. My ancestry, my background comes from the church because my father was a Baptist, my mother was a Christian, she was a Sunday school teacher, her father was a preacher. So I'm linked with the church no matter what. Um, Even though I was born in Islam, I was born Muslim. So as things went on, we used to have deep conversations. And so just to put that out here, I'm not bashing this individual, because as I got to know this person, I was like, damn, they really is dope. Like, this person really got skills. This person really know, like, how to get down. But I didn't know at the time that this person had sold their soul to the devil in order for them to come up. So as we were going through this so-called relationship, because I say so-called relationship, it was a relationship to me, but to this individual it really wasn't, because they had secret motives to it, but I wasn't aware of that at the time. And so there were certain red flags that I should have paid attention to, but I didn't. I was ignoring my intuition. And that's a lesson that I learned from all of this, that never ignore your intuition and always keep your standards high. Don't never lower your standards for nobody. Not for no nigga, not for no bitch. Remember that. So, everything was good at first, but as time went on, there were certain things that I was like, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, yeah, this don't feel right. Um, I'm the type of person that, I will debate you. I'm used to debates. My father had me debating niggas on the life of Yeshua Bar Miriam, or what you call Jesus Christ, at the age of like 7, 8, 9 years old. And I was debating grown ass men. Like on some real ass shit. And so, to me, I feel like if you're in a relationship with me, I feel like we should be able to go back and forth and debate. We can agree to disagree on certain things. And that's what I thought. And then it came to a certain debate about the black woman and certain things that we go through as black women and how we're shitted on and how motherfuckers disrespect us and get away with certain shit because we're black women. And we got into this debate, and it was a debate based on a police officer. I think it was based on up here in Philly. Um, Basically, it was a police officer that was raping women, and he was specifically raping black women. And he was doing that because he knew that people weren't going to believe these women because they were like homeless out on the streets. They were hooked on different drugs and different things. And he knew that they weren't going to believe them because they were black women. And so we happened to be discussing this in a debate between each other. And it came to the point where he was saying, well, no, that's not the case because white women and this and that to the third. And it really kind of upset me. And don't get it twisted, I'm not racist at all. But I just felt like, you know, how can you sit there and say that, white women would be treated the same when this police officer literally came out and said, I violated women of melanated, women of melanated, women that were melanated, basically black women, because I knew for a fact that no one would believe them. And I was trying to express this to this nigga at this time, and he was trying to dismiss it like, oh, it's an everybody thing, and da-da-da-da, this and that to the third, and whoop this and whoop that. And I was like, no, that wasn't the case. That's why he was harassing black women, because he knew no one was going to believe him. And I was trying to put that out to him, but he didn't want to see that. And there was other things beforehand that was letting me know, like, yeah, you a colorist. Yeah, you feel some type of way. Like, yeah, you like women that are a lighter skin color than it is a browner skin, my tone, or darker. Or yet you feel more comfortable because you feel like I'm not that bright, but I'm still like a lighter brown tone skin color. And it rubbed me the wrong way. It made me feel the wrong way. Even when this nigga had his young nephew, on FaceTime, and I was hearing the different things that he was saying, like, oh, well, I don't like this chocolate girl because da-da-da, because she's chocolate and she's dark. And I'm just listening to this shit. And I'm just listening to him because it seemed like he was so fascinated by my skin colors. He was like, are you light? Are you dark? Because I know 1 minute it can seem like I'm light, that I'm bright, because I look bright now. You know what I'm saying? And then there's other times where I might seem darker. And it kind of concerned me because I'm like, well, why do you care? Because at the end of the day, like, if the KKK was to come through this bitch and hang a nigga, they gonna see you as a nigga. They don't give a fuck. And so we was going back and forth. We got into it. And so it kind of upset me. And I was like, well, let me draw back. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm going in a little bit too much. Let me chill so I won't say the wrong thing that I don't really mean toward this man that at the time I had feelings for. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just, let's just talk later. Let's just chill on this conversation. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe we'll talk later or maybe we'll talk the next day because despite what you may have heard, we've talked for like hours and hours. We've had conversations, like real conversations. And so it was to a point where I had chilled. I was like, okay, confirmation, whatever. And so this nigga came straight back. And so he started writing me in my DM talking about, maybe this isn't gonna work out, and maybe this and that to the third, and woo woo woo. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? And so basically, to sum it up, the nigga was trying to break up with me. And I'm like, nah, I'm not with this shit. Not because I didn't want him to break up with me, because he has that right to do so. But it's just, nah, you're not finna do this through no DM. You finna tell me straight face to face. Don't text me no shit. You tell me straight up. So we're FaceTiming, we going back to back, and this nigga is dragging me. I'm literally like, this nigga is dragging the shit out of me. So I'm like, okay. And so he's basically saying in the DM, and I'm not saying word for word because I'm not going to go in the DM and look up the message and all that, because once I block that nigga, I'm not trying to read none of that shit. But just from what I can remember, he was basically saying, you're too intelligent, you're too smart, what I picked up, I can't play you the way that I thought I was going to play you because you're more intelligent than what I thought you was, to sum that up. So I'm like, okay, like, damn, whatever. And so he's basically breaking up with me. Just to let y'all know, down there in the ATL, this nigga broke up with me. And so what had me upset was, and I basically told this nigga straight up because I FaceTimed this nigga back because I'm like, I'm not with that whole going back with this whole DM shit. I'd rather have you like face to face, like how we having a conversation right now. I'm having a conversation with y'all. That's how I feel. Like, no, we gonna talk to each other. Like, I told that nigga straight up, like, so basically you wasted my time. You wasted 5 months of my time. Some shit that I could have been doing, excuse me, y'all, because I'm losing my voice. Some shit that I could have been doing in my level up spiritual journey, trying to work on myself, trying to level up. I put that on hold, basically to be in a relationship with you because you making it seem like you want to raise a relationship with me. You just basically wasted my time. That's why I was so upset. If anything out of all of this, that's why I was like in my feelings, because I felt like, damn, you wasted my time. I could have been doing other things. I could have been investing my time in other things besides wasting my time to sit and have conversations with you for hours. I could have been doing other things. And so I started to see him for what it was. Like, that nigga started snapping on me, like raising his voice, talking shit. And I had to like calm myself down. A part of myself was like, no, don't go in it. Because I was at this point like, what the fuck is you talking to? Nigga, you don't talk to me like that. Like, I'm literally seeing this nigga transform into who he really was. And so I'm looking like, well, damn. And he's dragging me. I'm talking about, y'all, this nigga was fucking dragging me. He was dragging the fuck out of me in these DMs. He's like, ain't nobody gonna want you. Oh, you got fibromyalgia, you got a pain condition. Ain't no nigga gonna want you. Ain't nobody gonna want to spoil you. Ain't nobody gonna want to be with you. Ain't nobody gonna marry you. Ain't nobody gonna want to be with you because you got them kids and yada yada yada. And he did throw my kids up in it. And I just like I told him, like, nigga, you already knew I had kids before you slid in my DM. Everybody that went to school with us know that I got kids. I have 3 kids. My oldest is 14. My second oldest is my daughter. She's 10. She's about to be 11. And then my youngest is 8. He just turned 8 on the 15th. My baby Sag. So you knew already I had kids. So then he was like, oh, well, everybody told me that it wasn't going to work out anyway because it was long distance. I said, that's crazy because everybody on my end that I was rocking with at the time before I cut everybody off, everybody was rooting for me. Didn't nobody say, oh, it's not going to work because he's in Atlanta and you're in Philly and da-da this and da-da that. It was never that case. But that let me know that that nigga was so busy listening to what other people had to say. Then he came with, oh, well, you know, because you're getting older and you got kids and that's why you want to get married and this and that and the third. That ain't nothing to do with it. I always wanted to get married before I even had kids. Before I even had kids, I wanted to get married. I always want to be with one man. Regardless, yeah, I like bitches. Don't get it twisted. I do. But at the end of the day, I always wanted to be with a man. I wanted to be married to a man. I always wanted to be on some type of shit where we had a understanding with each other. Like, yeah, I like bitches. We can go out and get bitches together. Some shit like that. I came to realize that a lot of niggas that sit there and say they like chicks, they really don't mean that shit. They really don't know how to handle that because there's levels to that. But anyways, you know, he was making it seem like, you know, I was trying to gold dig on his ass. Like, oh, I just wanted to be with him because I got kids and I'm desperate and I want to be with somebody. So that way, no, it was never that. It was never that. It was never fucking that. Believe me when I say, look into my eyes. It was never that. So then it came to where like this nigga was really like doing me dirty. Like this nigga was really accusing me. He started accusing me of shit that I knew I wasn't doing. He was accusing me of fucking niggas all up here in Philly and shit. Confirmation. Like, what the fuck? Like, just like I told him straight up, like, if I wanted to be by myself before I even started talking to you, I was by myself for 5 years. 5 years. Why the fuck would I get in a relationship to fuck on other niggas when I could be by myself? Yeah, and I admitted this to you. Yeah, I cheated on my baby daddy in the past. I did. Because that nigga was doing dirt to me and I did the dirt back to him. But I was at that point where I was young and I was dumb. And I was bouncing in between 2 niggas. And I was like, it just didn't feel right. It didn't. It didn't feel right going between 2 men at the same time. It just did. And so a lot of the things that I was telling him, expressing to this motherfucker, he was using to get to me. You know? And so when it came to it with the back and forth shit, then he pop up with another bitch picture talking about, so, oh, it don't matter because I moved on. How the fuck you moved on when you just breaking up with me within a couple of hours. That means you was already talking to this motherfucker. You was already talking to this bitch. You was already talking to your ex's sister. So that means you was fucking on your ex and your ex's sister or whatever the kinky shit that y'all had going on. Which I don't knock you. You do what you do. But I'm saying you pop this bitch's picture in the inbox and she's saying, "Oh, good morning, babe." Alright, that ain't somebody that just started talking to you. This is somebody that been talking to you. So you been fucking around with other bitches. You been going out to the clubs down there in Atlanta fucking with other bitches. Like I said, I know the nature of a man. I'm not stupid. I know the nature of a man and how he's set up and how he's gonna be with more than just one woman. You're not gonna sit here and try to play me like I'm stupid. You're in the home of the strip club in the ATL. But I call myself trusting you to believe that you had more respect for me, that you ain't gonna be out here just doing some dumb shit. But you slide this other woman's picture in my DM like that's supposed to make me jealous. Like that's supposed to make me come at you. Like that's supposed to make me be like, "Oh, well, no, don't break up with me. Why is you talking to me? Why? No. You thought that